Hey YouTube, what's up? So recently this news story dropped. Jack Dorsey of Twitter has resigned. And this gave me the idea of creating a video just briefly detailing a general pattern we see all over the internet, particularly with social media. So I've called this digital popularity contest. So with a lot of social media websites, for example, Facebook, Reddit, Twitter, whatever you want to look at, there's some sort of democratic mechanism for deciding what content is popular and what content isn't popular. So Facebook, of course, has the famous or infamous like button. Then they added various other reactions. Twitter has, I think, like or love or something, um, retweets and all of that. Anyway, so all these sites, they have a democratic mechanism in the sense that there's some kind of voting that people could do. Now, what I wanted to go over in this video is how a lot of popularity is manufactured essentially with these platforms. So if you go on a website like, we'll go to Twitter again, and then you naively just think that what's happening is really what everybody cares about, what's really happening. Um, you take the so-called checkmark people to be the authorities or the influential people you should care about. This is true in a sense within the platform, that this is what the platform is telling you to look at. Now, another question to ask is whether or not that reflects what people are actually talking about or what people actually think. So I made some notes here and just wanted to go over them really quick. So just some quick facts. The first one should be obvious to you, but it's becoming less and less obvious, and that is that accounts are not equal to people. So two terms I wanted to define here are first sock puppets. So you might have one person that controls multiple accounts. So they call these other accounts sock puppets because it's like, oh, hello, Alan is cool. I agree. I agree, right? So you could create the illusion that something is more popular, or you could do what might be called seeding a conversation or something. So if I made a video and then I created a sock puppet account, let's pretend none of my videos are getting any comments. So I would like people to start writing comments. Well, if I made a couple other accounts and then I started writing comments on my own videos, then maybe all of a sudden people would say, oh, there's a lot of comments on these videos. I don't have to be the first person to comment on a video with not very many views. And lo and behold, this might seed a conversation. Okay, then we have what I called semi-autonomous accounts or bots. I call them semi-autonomous because somebody has to decide to run the program and stuff. I don't think that there's just bots that are fully autonomous in the sense that someone had to decide to release them. But these things, what could they do? For example, they might search a certain keyword, and then they might have certain conditions like, oh yeah, if a post already has at least 5 likes, add another like, and then post this generic comment like, great vid or whatever. Okay, so those are just two facts, or two different types of non-people account things, mechanisms, instruments that are very common on social media. And then here's what I went over at the start of this video. Social media sites use democratic mechanisms to decide what content is popular, right? Now, I bring up sock puppets and bots because as far as the system is concerned, they're all the same. Accounts and people, you all get one like per video. So most normal users, I would say, they only have one account, which probably is the same as their person in the sense you only have one driver's license, probably, if you drive a car. However, you get specialists or feds, corporate employees, all these different parties that might make ample use of both sock puppets and bots. So what this means is that normal people that want to be represented, they are at a severe disadvantage relative to people that are actively using sock puppet bots and other techniques to manage perception of stuff. And that is why you will get people that specialize in these things. So back in the day, there was what we called like search engine optimization, or SEO. This would be trying to get your page at the top of Google, something like that. But now you might have people that are not just interested in getting to the top of Google results. You'll have specialists in getting stuff to be popular on Instagram. So for example, if you're trying to sell some product, you want to advertise, a lot of people go on Instagram, then you might make use of some sort of company or service that makes use of sock puppets, bots, and that sort of thing to game the algorithm in some way to make your ads, your products popular. Okay, so thinking about these digital popularity contests, you could ask a question like, imagine you're a big corporation or nonprofit, so you have some objective like sell certain products, or maybe you want people to support something, to like something. How might social media be useful for controlling public perception? So in the social sciences, there's been a lot of study on this sort of thing. So usually you'll have to measure people's reactions, responses through something like surveys. But now with social media analytics, so if you run a page or do something more on the business side of these things, you'll be able to see a dashboard with all these numbers, graphs, and controls. And what these tools encourage people to do is to say, okay, what are little behaviors I could do in order to make my video rise up the algorithm, basically. So like with a YouTube video, for instance, I might find out that if I make videos between 10 and 20 minutes and do that relatively frequently, then this is an effective strategy to up engagement. So from that data, a YouTuber that wants to get more popular, they might continually make videos between 10 and 20 minutes long, and if indeed the strategy works to make their channel more popular, then lo and behold, they have a data-driven channel. Now, what happens is if somebody finds out a technique like this, though, what they might do is also find that many of the steps they could take don't actually require you don't have to do it just through what I'll call like organic growth. Meaning, let's say that if a video has more comments, it'll get promoted on the algorithm. You'll have more people viewing it. Now, the organic way is to just share this with your friends and family, whatever, and have these things become more popular. The digital governance establishment way, in order to make your video more popular, would be to resort to tactics like sock puppets and bots, thereby allowing your video to game the metrics of, oh yeah, more engagement tends to lead to more this. So you look at a correlation from your analytics, and then you say, okay, this thing has this causation effect, right? And then if you try to pump in that cause, then one of the ideas is that you will get the predicted result from your technique that you're applying with your data. So if all this sounds a bit zany and out there, let me just say that there are a lot of precedents for this sort of thing. So for example, you have people, they act in the world, they do business. Well, a long time ago, by now, we came up with this idea of corporations as legal people or entities, and then also generally accounts. So in going through school, you probably have some kind of academic record. Of course, there's bank accounts and things like that. So this idea of multiple administrative, quote-unquote, people being used to do various complicated things. This is not a very new idea, but in the digital world, I think that this idea is just being expanded. It's being scaled beyond any scope that I've seen studying history. And crucial to understand, though, is okay, if you have, insofar as the system is democratic in that votes count in some kind of sense, then the relative power of using this sock puppet bot technique is greater. So you'll get a lot of institutions and stuff that will be talking about democratic this and that. These institutions directly benefit from tactics like sock puppets and bots, and insofar as the system gives more and more power to democratic processes, essentially what that means is that people that go full-time and really develop their sock puppet and bot techniques are able to manufacture more popularity for themselves. So that is my little rant here about digital popularity contests in the context of this recent Twitter announcement. We'll see what happens. I think we see a lot of narratives going around like, oh, social media is addicting. Oh, social media and mental health. Oh, social media could be a great way to expand your network. Like all sorts of talk about social media, this and that. But how much talk do you hear about how digital popularity contests are themselves a mechanism by which governments and other parties could further consolidate control over you and your friends and your family? So, yes, inform yourself, like and share, subscribe, and thank you all for watching this video.